He had seen every kind of performance imaginable, but when she wheeled a bed onto the stage and promised to paint her dreams while sleeping, Simon Cowell realized he was about to witness something that would redefine what it means to create art from the deepest corners of human consciousness. The America's Got Talent theater pulsed with its familiar energy, cameras positioned to capture every moment that would become part of entertainment history. Simon Cowell sat at the judges' table, his sharp attention scanning the stage with the practiced evaluation that had become his trademark over decades of talent judging. The evening had proceeded through its expected rhythm of performances, singers reaching for vocal perfection, dancers defying physical limitations, musicians demonstrating technical mastery. Each act had contributed to the reliable flow that kept audiences engaged, some succeeding brilliantly, others falling short of their aspirations. Simon tracked the show's pacing, noting the acts remaining, and mentally preparing for whatever surprises the final performances might contain. Nothing in the night's previous acts had suggested that what was about to appear on stage would challenge fundamental assumptions about consciousness, creativity, and the mysterious territory where sleep meets art. Her name was Dr. Luna Vasquez, 33 years old, and she was carefully positioning something on stage that looked more like a medical sleep study than a talent show performance. A hospital-grade, adjustable bed, surrounded by sophisticated neurological monitoring equipment, EEG machines, and what appeared to be some kind of real-time brainwave translation technology. Luna wore simple pajamas, not as a costume choice, but as practical clothing for what she was about to attempt. Beside her bed sat an easel with a large canvas, positioned so that her hands could reach it while she lay down, connected to a complex system of mechanical arms and electronic sensors that would translate her brain activity into artistic movements. Behind Luna's unusual setup stood Dr. Marcus Rivera, a sleep disorder specialist whose presence added medical credibility to what might otherwise appear to be an elaborate illusion. Dr. Rivera was monitoring equipment that would ensure Luna's safety during what was essentially a public medical procedure. Luna had not always been someone who created art while sleeping. For most of her life, she had been Dr. Luna Vasquez, a neuroscientist studying sleep disorders at Stanford Medical Center. Her research focused on understanding the neurological mechanisms behind dreaming and the ways that sleep state brain activity differed from waking consciousness. But Luna's relationship with sleep had been complicated by narcolepsy, a neurological disorder that caused her to fall asleep suddenly and unpredictably, often entering REM dream states within minutes of losing consciousness. For most people, narcolepsy was a debilitating condition that made normal daily activities dangerous and difficult. Luna's narcolepsy had been diagnosed during graduate school, when she began falling asleep during lectures, research sessions, and even while walking across campus. The standard treatment involved stimulant medications to maintain wakefulness during necessary activities, but Luna had discovered that her condition included an unusual component that most narcoleptics didn't experience. During her narcoleptic episodes, Luna retained partial motor control and sensory awareness, while fully experiencing vivid, complex dreams. She could dream while simultaneously moving her hands, responding to external stimuli, and maintaining enough consciousness to interact with her physical environment. "It's like being awake and asleep simultaneously," Luna had explained to Dr. Rivera during their initial consultation. "I can see and feel my dreams as clearly as if I were watching movies, but my hands can still move, can still respond to what I'm experiencing in the dream state." Dr. Rivera had been fascinated by Luna's case because it represented a unique window into the relationship between dreaming consciousness and motor function. Most people experienced sleep paralysis during REM dreams, but Luna's neurological wiring allowed her to act out dream experiences while fully immersed in sleep state consciousness. The inspiration for translating Luna's dreams into art had come during a research session where she was being monitored while experiencing a narcoleptic episode. Dr. Rivera had noticed that Luna's hand movements during dreams seemed to follow patterns that corresponded to what she later described as visual experiences in her dream content. When I dreamed about flying over landscapes, Luna had told Dr. Rivera, my hands were moving as if I were drawing those landscapes. When I dreamed about meeting people, my hand movements seemed to be sketching portraits. It was as if my brain was trying to create visual art to match what I was experiencing in my dreams. Working with bioengineering specialists, Luna and Dr. Rivera had developed what they called dream state artistry, a technique for translating Luna's sleep brain activity into real-time artistic creation. The system monitored her brainwaves, tracked her hand movements during dreams, and used mechanical amplification to translate those movements into painting and drawing on canvas. Luna's initial experiments had been conducted privately, in laboratory settings, where she could explore the artistic potential of her narcoleptic episodes without public attention. The resulting artworks had been unlike anything created through traditional, conscious, artistic methods. Images that captured the surreal logic of dreams, emotional landscapes that reflected subconscious processing of memory and experience. The art that emerged from Luna's dream states often included visual elements that she had no conscious memory of creating, but which reflected deep psychological content that her waking mind couldn't access. Childhood memories transformed into abstract landscapes, emotional conflicts represented through color and form that carried meaning she could only understand after waking and viewing the completed pieces. Dr. Sarah Chen, a professor of art therapy who had witnessed Luna's dream artistry, immediately recognized its potential applications for understanding subconscious processing, trauma recovery, and the creative potential of altered consciousness states. Luna has developed a technique that allows direct artistic expression from the subconscious mind. Dr. Chen had written in her research paper, her dream art bypasses the filtering and editing that conscious artistic creation requires, providing unmediated access to psychological content that would otherwise remain hidden. The invitation to perform on America's Got Talent had come through Dr. Chen's recommendation, but Luna had been hesitant to take such a personal and vulnerable process into entertainment context. Creating art while unconscious felt too intimate, too revealing for television performance. But Dr. Rivera had convinced her that demonstrating dream artistry could help other narcoleptics understand their condition as a potential source of unique capability, rather than purely a disability, and could advance public understanding of sleep disorders and consciousness research. Besides, Dr. Rivera had pointed out, most people think of dreams as private, temporary experiences that disappear when we wake up. Maybe it's time to show that dreams can create lasting beauty, that sleep consciousness has creative potential that we're only beginning to understand. Standing here on the AGT stage, Luna understood that she was about to make her most private mental processes public, sharing with millions of strangers the unfiltered artistic expression of her dreaming mind. The stage manager approached them. "Luna, Dr. Rivera, you're ready?" Luna nodded, settling onto her bed and checking that all her monitoring equipment was properly positioned. She had demonstrated dream artistry dozens of times in controlled laboratory settings, but never on a television stage, never with an audience expecting entertainment, rather than witnessing a neurological and artistic experiment. She arranged herself comfortably on the bed, her hands positioned so they could reach the canvas through the mechanical amplification system, the EEG sensors properly placed to monitor her brain activity as she transitioned from waking consciousness to dream state. The audience's reaction was immediate confusion mixed with curiosity. Here was a woman preparing to take a nap on stage, surrounded by medical equipment that suggested this was some kind of sleep study rather than a talent demonstration. Simon leaned forward, his attention caught by the unprecedented nature of what Luna was setting up. In 15 years of judging, he had never seen a contestant whose performance required falling asleep on stage. "Hello," Simon said, his voice carrying clearly across the theater. "What's your name, and what exactly are you planning to do by sleeping on our stage?" Luna looked directly at Simon from her position on the bed. "My name is Dr. Luna Vasquez, and I have narcolepsy." a sleep disorder that allows me to dream while maintaining partial motor control. I'm going to fall asleep and paint my dreams in real time, creating art directly from my subconscious mind." The audience murmured with fascination and skepticism. This sounded more like a medical demonstration than a talent show act. "You're going to paint while sleeping," Simon repeated slowly, trying to understand what he was being told. "My brain enters REM dream states within minutes of falling asleep," Luna explained. "But unlike most people, I can still move my hands and respond to what I'm experiencing in my dreams. The equipment will amplify my hand movements and translate them into painting on canvas, so you can see my dreams as I'm creating them." Dr. Rivera stepped forward to add context. Luna's narcolepsy includes a rare component that allows artistic expression directly from dream consciousness. What you're about to witness is unfiltered creative output from the subconscious mind. Simon felt something shift in his understanding of what he was about to witness. This wasn't going to be a conventional artistic performance. This was a woman who could create art from dream states that most people could never access consciously. "You'll be completely asleep while painting," one of the other judges asked. "I'll be fully dreaming," Luna confirmed, "experiencing complete dream narratives while my hands translate what I'm seeing and feeling into visual art. The painting you'll see being created is a direct representation of my dream content." Luna began her pre-sleep routine, and the theater lights dimmed slightly to create conditions that would facilitate her narcoleptic transition. The EEG monitors began displaying her brain activity on large screens visible to the audience, showing the gradual shift from waking consciousness to sleep states. "This will take about 5 minutes for me to enter deep dream sleep," Luna explained as her eyes began to close. "Once I'm fully in REM state, the dream artistry will begin. The painting that emerges will be something I've never seen before, created entirely by my subconscious mind." Simon watched, fascinated, as Luna's brainwave patterns on the monitors shifted, from the rapid, chaotic patterns of waking consciousness to the slower, more rhythmic waves that indicated approaching sleep. Within minutes, Luna was completely asleep, her breathing deep and regular, her body relaxed. But the EEG monitors showed intense brain activity, characteristic of REM dreaming. And soon her hands began to move, small, precise movements that were immediately translated by the mechanical amplification system into brushstrokes on the canvas. The audience watched, mesmerized, as a painting began to emerge seemingly by itself. Luna's sleeping hands guided brushes loaded with different colors, creating images that appeared to follow some kind of narrative logic that existed only in her dreaming mind. The first images that appeared on the canvas were landscapes, not realistic representations, but emotional interpretations of places that seemed to exist only in dream logic. Floating islands connected by bridges made of light, forests where the trees were musical instruments, skies filled with geometric patterns that somehow suggested human faces. As Luna's dream continued, the landscape images transformed into more complex scenes. Human figures began appearing in the painting, not photographic representations but symbolic interpretations that captured personality and emotion rather than physical appearance. Simon found himself completely absorbed in watching someone create art from a state of consciousness that he had never considered could be artistic. Luna's technique was unlike anything he had ever seen, but more importantly, the resulting artwork carried emotional authenticity that seemed to come from sources deeper than conscious creative decision-making. The painting continued to evolve as Luna's dream narrative progressed. The mechanical amplification system translated every subtle hand movement into precise brush strokes, building a complex artwork that told a story only Luna's subconscious mind could understand. Dr. Rivera quietly narrated what the EEG monitors were showing. Luna is in deep REM sleep, experiencing intense dream activity. The brain patterns we're seeing indicate she's processing memories, emotions, and subconscious content that her waking mind doesn't have access to. As Luna's dream artistry reached its peak, something remarkable appeared on the canvas, a portrait that seemed to be emerging from the abstract landscape elements. Not a portrait of any specific person, but a representation of human emotion itself, capturing something universal about consciousness, dreams, and the creative potential that existed in sleep states. The final phase of Luna's dream painting was the most beautiful and complex. Her sleeping hands added details, colors, and textures that transformed the entire composition into something that looked like a map of human consciousness. Territories of memory, emotion, creativity, and imagination, rendered visible through subconscious artistic expression. After about 8 minutes of continuous dream painting, Luna's brain activity began shifting back toward waking consciousness. Her hand movements gradually became less fluid, more hesitant, as her dreaming mind prepared to return to waking awareness. When Luna finally opened her eyes and sat up on the bed, she looked at the canvas with genuine surprise. The painting that had emerged from her dream state was unlike anything she had ever seen before, even in her previous dream artistry sessions. The artwork was simultaneously abstract and narrative, chaotic and organized, emotional and technical. It appeared to be a visual representation of the dream experience itself, the way consciousness worked, when freed from the logical constraints of waking thought. "I was flying through a landscape made of music," Luna said, describing her dream to the audience. "There were people there, but they were made of light and emotion rather than flesh." The painting shows what that world looked like from inside the dream. The silence that followed was profound. The audience seemed uncertain whether to respond with applause or something more reverent. What they had just witnessed felt too mysterious for ordinary entertainment acknowledgement. Then Simon did something unprecedented. He stood up from the judges' table and approached the stage, not to critique the performance, but to examine the artwork that had emerged from Luna's sleeping mind. Simon climbed onto the stage and stood before the canvas, studying the dream painting that had been created while Luna was completely unconscious. "Luna," Simon said, his voice filled with wonder, "I need to tell you something." She waited, uncertain whether his response indicated success or confusion about how to categorize what had just been demonstrated. "In 15 years of judging talent competitions," Simon said, "I have never seen anything that provided such direct access to human consciousness in its purest form. You didn't just create art, you opened a window into the subconscious mind that most of us never get to see." Simon gestured to the painting. "This artwork contains images and emotional content that your conscious mind didn't plan or control. It's pure, creative expression from the deepest parts of human consciousness." Luna was still absorbing what she had created while sleeping. "Every dream painting is different. I never know what will emerge when I fall asleep. It's like my subconscious has its own artistic vision that only becomes visible when I'm not trying to control it. You've proven that creativity exists in states of consciousness that we rarely access," Simon continued. "This painting shows us what human imagination looks like when it's completely free from rational constraints." Simon turned to address the entire theater. "Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Luna Vasquez has just demonstrated something extraordinary about the relationship between consciousness and creativity. She's shown us that art can emerge from parts of the mind that we don't even know we possess." As the golden buzzer activated and confetti began falling around them, Simon looked again at the dream painting. "This artwork will never exist again in exactly this form because it came from a dream state that can never be perfectly replicated. That makes it not just art, it makes it a unique record of human consciousness in action." After the cameras stopped rolling, Simon spent time with Luna and Dr. Rivera, learning more about narcolepsy, dream consciousness, and the potential applications of subconscious artistry. "You know what moved me most about your performance?" Simon asked Luna. "It wasn't just the technical innovation of painting while sleeping. It was seeing creativity that came from sources beyond conscious control, art that revealed parts of human consciousness that we don't normally get to witness." Luna carefully examined the painting she had created while sleeping. "Each dream artwork teaches me something about my own subconscious mind. I discover thoughts, memories, and emotions that I didn't know I was processing. It's like archaeology of the psyche." Simon realized he had learned something profound about creativity, consciousness, and the artistic potential that existed in altered states of awareness. 6 months later, Luna established the Dream Arts Institute, working with other narcoleptics and sleep disorder patients to explore whether dream state creativity could be developed as both artistic expression and therapeutic tool. The institute provided equipment and training for people whose sleep disorders might be reimagined as unique capabilities rather than purely medical problems. The institute's research program, supported by Simon's Foundation, began studying the therapeutic applications of dream artistry for trauma processing, creativity enhancement, and understanding subconscious mental activity. Dr. Patricia Williams, a psychiatrist specializing in trauma therapy, discovered that patients who engaged in dream artistry showed improved access to suppressed memories, better emotional processing, and enhanced creative problem-solving abilities. Luna's technique provides a way for people to access psychological content that talk therapy alone can't reach, Dr. Williams reported. Creating art from dream states seems to bypass conscious resistance and allow direct expression of subconscious material. Luna's most challenging project came when the National Sleep Foundation commissioned her to create a series of dream paintings that would help researchers understand the visual content of different sleep disorders, using her artwork to map the subjective experience of various neurological conditions. The project required Luna to work with patients who had different sleep disorders: sleep apnea, restless leg syndrome, chronic insomnia, helping them develop their own forms of sleep state expression while creating comparative artwork that illustrated how different neurological conditions affected dream content. Luna's dream art is helping us understand that sleep disorders don't just affect rest and alertness, explained Dr. Jennifer Martinez, the project's director. They affect creativity, emotional processing, and subconscious mental activity in ways that we're only beginning to comprehend. Years later, when Luna was invited to return to AGT, she brought a new development: collaborative dream art, where multiple narcoleptics could create group paintings by sleeping simultaneously and combining their dream state creative output. During that return performance, Luna was joined by 3 other dream artists who had learned her techniques, creating a large canvas artwork that emerged from the combined subconscious minds of 4 people sleeping on stage simultaneously. The result was a painting that seemed to capture universal aspects of human consciousness, themes and images that appeared in multiple dreamers' artwork, suggesting shared subconscious content that transcended individual psychological experience. What we're seeing, Luna explained to the audience, is that when people create art from dream states, certain images and themes appear consistently across different individuals. This suggests that human consciousness contains shared creative territories that we can only access when we stop trying to control our artistic expression. The collaborative dream painting that emerged that night was more complex and emotionally resonant than any individual dream artwork Luna had created, demonstrating that subconscious creativity could be enhanced through group unconscious collaboration. Luna's dream artistry had proven that consciousness contained creative resources that existed beyond rational thought, that sleep states could produce meaningful artistic expression, and that neurological differences could be sources of unique creative capability rather than purely medical challenges. The narcolepsy that had once been considered a disability had become Luna's gateway to artistic territories that most people could never access, proving that the boundaries between sleep and waking, between conscious and unconscious creativity, were far more porous than anyone had previously understood. The dream paintings continued to emerge from Luna's sleeping mind, each one unique, each one revealing different aspects of subconscious creative potential, each one proving that human consciousness contained artistic resources that could only be accessed when we stopped trying to control them and allowed our deeper minds to express themselves through unfiltered creative freedom. It wasn't just television that night, it was a revelation about consciousness, creativity, and the artistic potential that existed in states of awareness that most people experienced but never learned to harness, proof that the most profound art might emerge not from conscious effort but from the willingness to let subconscious wisdom guide the creative process, while rational thought slept peacefully aside. In the weeks following Luna's performance, the video of her dream artistry became a phenomenon that transcended typical entertainment content. Sleep research centers worldwide began studying the footage for its demonstration of motor function during REM sleep and its implications for understanding the relationship between dreaming and creative expression. Dr. Matthew Harrison from the Harvard Sleep Laboratory wrote, "Dr. Vasquez's demonstration represents a breakthrough in our understanding of consciousness during sleep states. Her ability to maintain motor control while experiencing REM dreams challenges fundamental assumptions about sleep paralysis." Luna received hundreds of letters from people with sleep disorders who had watched her performance and begun to wonder whether their conditions might have creative potential. One particularly moved her, from Jennifer Walsh, a college student with severe insomnia. "I've spent years frustrated that I can't sleep normally," Jennifer wrote. "But watching you create art from your dreams made me wonder what might be possible during my long wakeful nights. Maybe my insomnia isn't just a problem. Maybe it's a different kind of consciousness that could produce its own form of art." The Dream Arts Institute grew from these letters and the recognition that different sleep states might offer access to creative territories that normal sleep-wake cycles couldn't provide. Luna began working with patients who had various sleep disorders, helping them explore whether their conditions might be reimagined as doorways to alternative forms of consciousness. At the Institute's first workshop in Palo Alto, Luna worked with Dr. Sarah Chen to develop techniques for different types of sleep state creativity. They discovered that people with different sleep disorders often had access to unique forms of artistic expression corresponding to their specific neurological patterns. Patients with sleep apnea developed techniques for creating fragmented artwork that captured the experience of consciousness repeatedly interrupted and restored. People with restless leg syndrome learned to channel their involuntary movements into kinetic art forms. "What we discovered," Luna explained, "is that every sleep disorder creates its own unique relationship with consciousness, and many of those relationships have artistic potential we had never considered." The Institute's most successful program worked with chronic insomniacs, teaching them to use wakeful nights for what Luna called liminal art, creative work produced in the borderland between sleeping and waking that captured the strange clarity emerging during sleepless hours. Jennifer Walsh became one of the program's most gifted participants. Her insomnia, previously a source of frustration, became the foundation for creating artwork exploring themes of time, consciousness, and the beauty of solitude. Simon's Foundation provided funding for the Institute's research into sleep state consciousness mapping, systematic study of how different sleep disorders affected cognitive function, emotional processing, and creative potential. Dr. Patricia Rodriguez discovered that people with sleep disorders often developed compensatory cognitive abilities that enhance their creative thinking and artistic expression. Luna's case may be unusual in its dramatic artistic potential, Dr. Rodriguez reported, but it's part of a larger phenomenon showing that sleep disorders can lead to cognitive adaptations, providing unique creative abilities. Luna's most ambitious project came when the National Institute of Mental Health commissioned her to develop dream artistry protocols for trauma treatment, exploring whether creating art from dream states could help patients access traumatic memories too difficult to approach through conscious therapy. Working with veterans suffering from PTSD, Luna discovered that dream artistry could provide access to trauma memories stored in subconscious awareness levels. Patients could create artwork from dreams reflecting trauma experiences, but the dream state allowed processing without overwhelming emotional intensity. "When I paint my dreams about combat," explained Marcus Williams, a veteran in the program, "I can access memories too painful to talk about directly. The dream state lets me express what happened without being overwhelmed." Years later, when Luna returned to AGT as a special guest, she brought simplified dream art techniques that anyone could practice, regardless of diagnosed sleep disorders. Everyone has access to creative consciousness states during the transition between sleeping and waking, Luna explained. Most people experience these states every night, but they've never learned to harness them for creative expression. During that return appearance, Luna demonstrated that dream artistry wasn't limited to people with narcolepsy. It was a creative resource everyone possessed, but few had learned to access. Luna performed one final dream artwork, narrating her dream content while painting, allowing the audience to understand the relationship between subconscious experience and emerging artwork. The dream involved flying through landscapes made of musical notes, meeting deceased relatives who existed as colors and emotions, and discovering libraries where books wrote themselves based on readers' dreams. The painting that emerged was perhaps her most beautiful and complex, a visual representation of consciousness itself, showing how memory, imagination, emotion, and creativity combined in the subconscious mind to produce artwork no conscious effort could duplicate. Luna's narcolepsy, once considered a medical challenge, had become her gateway to artistic territories that most people experienced but never learned to explore, demonstrating that neurological differences could be sources of creative advantage rather than purely medical conditions requiring treatment. The dream paintings continued emerging from Luna's sleeping mind, each revealing different aspects of subconscious creative potential, each proving that the most profound artistic expression might come not from conscious effort, but from the courage to trust subconscious wisdom and let dreams guide the creative process into territories that rational thought could never discover.